you for joining us for your 5 News Plus weekend wrap, where we go over some of the week's top headlines. New developments to tell you about in the Benton County case against Amber Waterman, a Missouri woman accused of kidnapping and killing a pregnant Arkansas woman. 5 News reporter Claire Everbach was in the courtroom Tuesday as decisions were made.
New court dates for a hearing and a jury trial are set after attorneys say a state psychiatrist found Amber Waterman fit to stand trial. Waterman is accused of killing Ashley Bush and her unborn baby in 2022.
The doctor determined that she was in fact fit, could understand what was happening, and participate in her own defense. So today the court found her to be fit to proceed.
Joshua Robinson, Chief Deputy Prosecuting Attorney of Benton County, says the next step now is picking a jury, something he says is more extensive for a death penalty case.
Everything gets slowed down in a death penalty case because we want to be sure that we're getting everything right and we're paying attention to all the details.
Robinson says the victim's family is finally starting to see the justice they deserve.
There's a little bit of a relief that they can see a light at the end of the tunnel. You know, it's been such a long process that they're hopeful there's actually going to be some closure, and it has been their goal all the time that a jury be presented with the option of the death penalty. And so I think they're feeling hopeful.
Today, Judge Green scheduled a motion hearing for January 21st and a jury trial for April 7th. In Bentonville, covering news where you live, Claire Everbach, 5 News.
The trial date for a man who fled police in Springdale was set in a hearing Tuesday. Caleb Chavez was caught shoplifting at the Walmart on Pleasant Street when he ran from police and then crashed his car into a house on Watson Avenue. He's charged with criminal mischief, theft, and endangering the welfare of a minor. There was a 16-year-old in the car at the time of the crash. Chavez will face a jury in January. A man in Washington County facing drug trafficking and related charges has his trial reset on Tuesday. Antwain Jackson was arrested last year for drug trafficking of meth. County Prosecutor Brandon Carter said Jackson is also facing a federal case. He's being held on $100,000 bond and will go to trial in December. An update in the deadly shooting that happened across the street from the Siloam Springs Intermediate School last Friday. Police are sharing the names of the victim and 2 suspects. Police say the man killed in the shooting was Emmanuel Tucker. They've arrested 19-year-old Braylon Ferris and 15-year-old Kyle McIntyre. The county prosecutor says McIntyre is being charged as an adult in connection with capital murder. Ferris is charged with capital murder, among other charges. You can read more details on our website, 5newsonline.com. 2 arrests have been made after threats against the Hackett School District prompted a swift investigation by the Sebastian County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff's Office says it got calls Monday morning about a message that threatened a school shooting the next day. The message claimed that many students would be harmed. The suspects are 14 and 15-year-olds. They both face charges of threatening to commit an act of mass violence on school property. Police say the charges are connected to those messages, and a show of force from law enforcement greeted students, staff, and parents at Hackett Elementary and High School on Tuesday morning.
Even though somebody has been arrested for this, I just decided we would come out here as a show of force and support for the school. We've moved shifts. We actually had some of our reserve officers come in today as well on their own time.
They're still investigating that threat, and the Hackett Police Department says that increased police presence had continued all throughout the week. We continue our coverage of a bear attack in northern Franklin County. It happened off the Pig Trail Highway near the Mulberry Mountain Lodge. Arkansas Game and Fish says attacks like this are extremely rare, the first reported in the state in at least 25 years. 5 News reporter Claire Everbach spoke with Game and Fish and residents Thursday.
I'm near Mulberry Mountain off of Highway 23, where a 70-year-old man was attacked by a bear Wednesday afternoon. Now, Game and Fish is sharing new updates on the bear and the victim. A spokesperson with Game and Fish says the bear, which was put down after the attack, weighed just 70 pounds, which they say is smaller than normal. Samples from its body are being sent to a lab in Little Rock, where it will be tested for rabies. Tourists in the area tell me encounters like this aren't something they usually worry about.
I know that there's definitely wildlife out here that you've got to be cautious of, but in the back of my brain, I'm always like, well, they're probably more scared of us than we are of them.
With an attack like this being so rare, the news came as a shock.
Of course, it was very surprising. I think that initially we thought that the gentleman was messing with us, like maybe he was like either playing a joke or trying to keep us out of the land or something.
Game and Fish expect necropsy results within the next 72 hours. As for the victim, Game and Fish tell me that he was flown to Little Rock, and while he did sustain serious injuries, he's now in stable condition. In Franklin County, covering news where you live, Claire Everbach, 5 News.
And here's some tips for best practices for avoiding bear encounters. When you're in the middle of nature, tune in and avoid distractions like phones and earbuds. Leave no trace and don't leave food behind. People bordering bear country should never have open trash cans or open bowls filled with pet food or things like cooking grease. You should also never feed bears and intentionally bait them. You can find more helpful information at bearwise.org or the Arkansas Game and Fish website. The Washington County Services Committee was supposed to talk about an investigation into alleged misuse of county property and an ordinance that would move several positions out of the sheriff's office to other departments. None of that happened. And as 5 News reporter Lauren Spencer reports, it was a tense night inside the quorum court on Tuesday. Some justices of the peace pushed to delay the investigation discussion, worried about violating state law, despite the county judge saying the public had a right to hear it. That then made the judge decide to delay the ordinance discussion. When asked how they'll move forward, the judge says they need to do some personnel changes.
We're totally flabbergasted.
That was Judge Patrick Deacon's reaction after the quorum court voted to table the item.
It really blows us away that we come here with that information. That's a difficult thing to come down here and do, only to be rebuffed and not be included in the conversation. It's one-sided tonight, and that's the taxpayer loses at that moment.
The county judge says after more than a year of investigating alleged misuse of property and funds inside the sheriff's office, his team deserves the chance to present their findings.
This report is already public. What I want the public to understand is this does mention employees, but at the end of the day, this isn't an HR file. This is a report for the county attorney's office. This is an illegal exaction report that anybody could pick up that report, take it to an attorney, and take action against the county.
He also says he supports moving HR, IT, legal services, and buildings and grounds out of the sheriff's office and back under county leadership.
There's a lot of hurdles that we oversee or we go through to spend county funds. The sheriff's department's not going through those same iterations. They're not being accountable to the taxpayers.
But former Sheriff Tim Helder says those positions are crucial to remain in-house.
Please, don't let this be a ping pong match where people are shoved and bounced back and forth to different offices. Our HR division is very important because law enforcement is a unique animal.
The quorum court was supposed to discuss the ordinance that would move those departments to under the county, but the judge said it was best to table the issue.
If we can't explain our side of the story, how can we then encourage a quorum court to take up such a contentious decision as to move staffing around? We want our day just like the other sides had their day.
The quorum court ultimately tabled both items and plans to seek a second opinion from the Attorney General's office. We asked current Sheriff Jay Cantrell for comment, but he declined. Well, state flags are flying at half-staff this week in mourning of District 26 State Senator Gary Stubblefield. The Arkansas Senate announced Stubblefield's passing Tuesday. Senator Stubblefield, who was 74, was born and raised in Charleston, spent a large portion of his life serving those in the community he grew up in. State Senator Bart Hester says no one represented the state of Arkansas better than Senator Stubblefield.
He represented his district with passion. He understood the rural Arkansas. He understood the farmer. He understood getting up before the sun and going to bed after the sun's gone down.
Sentiment shared by many other state leaders like Joseph Wood, chairman of the Arkansas Republican Party.
Hearing the news this morning, it kind of hit me.
Wood says he was heartbroken to find out his friend passed Tuesday morning, but says his legacy will live on.
I think of a man of steel and velvet, and that's pretty large to have that kind of nomenclature put on you, to be a man of steel and velvet. He was tough, he fought, and he was strong when it came to things he believed in.
Other politicians across the natural state released statements honoring the late senator, including Governor Sanders, saying, "I don't know if Gary earned his toughness playing Razorback football, raising dairy, cows, and branch, or participating in the contact sport that is Arkansas politics, but everyone knew him as a tough leader who would work hard to serve the River Valley and still, at the end of the day, have a smile on his face," as well as his former Razorback teammate and colleague, Senator John Bozeman, who says, "He was a fellow Razorback valued community member, lifelong farmer, and passionate public servant who served the River Valley with devotion. I was blessed by his friendship going back to our college days and the way it strengthened our faith, families, and the callings we followed over so many years. But what Senator Hester wants everyone to know more than anything is how much Senator Stubblefield cared for his family, his community, and his faith.
He dearly loved community. He loved representing the people. He loved those grandkids, his wife Kathy, and children. But most of all, he loved Jesus. He was a committed follower of Jesus. He'd given his life to him. So we know today we are celebrating with Gary as he's in heaven.
Because Senator Stubblefield was an active senator, Governor Sanders' office says she will fulfill her constitutional obligation to declare a vacancy, followed by a call for a special election to fill his seat. Well, the Fort Smith Fire Department is asking for donations to build a new memorial for fallen firefighters. On its Facebook page, the department posted renderings for a brick memorial near Fire Station 1 downtown. You can buy bricks as donations with prices ranging from $150 to $2,500. The fundraising website says it will be a place of reflection and remembrance for family, friends, and the fire service community. After more than a year of searching and one failed hire, there's now a new internal auditor for the city of Fort Smith. City directors hired Amanda Strange, who had worked with the city's Human Resource Department. The position has been vacant since April of last year, when Tracy Shockley resigned after 9 years with the city. Well, the first round of checks for the new data match program from the Arkansas Auditor's Office are now rolling out. The state auditor's office says more than $700,000 worth of checks will be mailed this week. The new program aims to get people who have unclaimed property the money owed to them without filing a claim. This could be uncashed checks, unreimbursed deposits, insurance proceeds, and more. It all comes from a new state law that requires the office to mail checks to people as long as their identity can be proven through multiple sources. You have to be owed between $50,000 and $5,000 to be eligible for the program. Otherwise, you will have to file a claim. The Arkansas Department of Energy and Environment is calling for more testing around the old Whirlpool plant in Fort Smith. Fire News reporter Claire Everbach explains why the state is asking for additional monitoring wells.
I'm outside the former Whirlpool refrigerator plant in Fort Smith, a facility that closed over a decade ago. But state environmental regulators say that the contamination left behind needs closer watching.
Whirlpool shut down its Fort Smith refrigerator plant in 2012. The following year, the company admitted to leaking a toxic chemical, trichloroethylene, or TCE, into the soil and groundwater around the site. In 2015, Whirlpool hired the engineering firm Ramboll to monitor the contamination and begin cleanup, including injection wells to break down chemicals in the ground. For years, Ramboll submitted semi-annual reports to the state and last year said there was no risk to the public. But state officials say new data shows the underground chemical plumes are still expanding. The state also found an error in Ramboll's report about indoor air data. While some chemicals did exceed screening levels, Whirlpool conducted an indoor air risk assessment, which found levels still within EPA's allowable range for workers, according to Energy and Environment. But even with the plume still migrating, regulators say there is no current health risk to residents. That's because the contamination is underground, and residents are restricted from using the groundwater. Vapor monitoring shows no dangerous chemicals inside homes.
Whirlpool says they are spending, quote, considerable resources to clean up the site, but ADEQ says that additional monitoring wells are needed to track the contamination. And they say Ramboll has 30 days to respond to the August 15th request. In Fort Smith, covering news where you live, Claire Everbach, 5 News.
Shelves are emptying across Arkansas as stores are pulling vape products that are now banned under state law. Act 590 is designed to shut down the use of disposable vapes that slipped past federal rules. Maya Ellison shows us what the crackdown looks like inside one Arkansas shop.
What are y'all looking for? Vape shops in Arkansas are actively making the switch. After Act 590 went into effect on Monday, businesses like Serenity Vapes have since cleared their shelves.
We haven't had any disposables in probably 2 or 3 weeks, and we've been trying to make people make the switch.
Store owner Amber Redding says that process began earlier this year. The first draft of the law tried to completely ban all vape products by mandating vape merchandise go on product registry, therefore limiting access to vapes to a small list of approved products. She and other vape shop owners needed to get that changed right away.
It would 100% shut down my business because the only thing that would be available at that point would be the things on the registry.
But after lobbying for changes, small business owners soon got on board.
We were okay with it because we were able to truly help people. We know, at least here at my store, I know exactly what you're going to be putting into your body, what you're going to be vaping, what the ingredients are, and I can't always say that with a Chinese-made disposable.
Chinese disposables have flooded the market while the federal government navigates how to regulate vaping products. The new state law forces vape makers to get their closed devices approved and registered. That effectively means closed or disposable products are prohibited. But Redding sells different reusable systems, kind of like pipes.
So this one, you vape on it, you throw it away when it's done, okay? This one is a refillable. You see that open system device? That's why we're still able to carry this, is because we refill this.
The manufacturers you see on your screen have since been approved by the Arkansas Tobacco Control as of August 28th. For Redding, she says she's heard the arguments from customers, but explains that this law still allows for a safer alternative to cigarettes that she hopes one day gets people to quit tobacco and off nicotine.
So we have a 50 milligram juice, and then we're also going to have a 35 milligram juice. And some of them we have as low as 24 or 18 milligrams. So you don't have to stick with that same amount of nicotine when you switch to a pod system.
With the registry now in effect, businesses have until November 1st to get rid of the disposables. If inspectors find them after that, they face fines of $1,000 for each product in violation. We're asking the Arkansas Department of Transportation why maintenance on the Midland Bridge that connects Van Buren and Fort Smith was still delayed. 5 News reporter Claire Everbach found out that crews were actually about to start work.
Drivers who rely on the Midland Bridge are eager for work to finally get started. And Dave Parker, spokesperson for the Arkansas Department of Transportation, says crews are ready.
That should begin tomorrow night, and we anticipate that all being wrapped up sometime around Thanksgiving.
The bridge first needed construction about a year ago, with plans to be finished by this past spring.
It had the normal issues of wear and tear. It needed to be resurfaced. It needed to be repaved, so to speak. It needed a new, smooth deck portion to it.
But before work could begin,
we discovered there were some issues with one of the back walls, some small fractures that the contractor discovered, and we had to address that,
forcing them to pause the project until now. People who live near the Midland Bridge didn't want to go on camera, but openly talked with me about frustration with delays. With work set to start tomorrow,
they'll go in there and create the new bridge deck, the overlay.
Parker assures drivers it's all for the better.
Bottom line is the bridge was worn down. The bridge had given everything it could, and it just needed some basic maintenance. It wasn't a matter of an issue of safety on the bridge. It was just getting in there and giving it the attention it needed and required.
In Fort Smith, covering news where you live, Claire Everbach, 5 News.
Parker also thanked residents for their patience with these delays, and he says he's looking forward to a new bridge in December. Well, Ozark Regional Transit is expanding access as ridership continues to grow. 5 News reporter Emily Moss has more.
As more and more people move to the region, Ozark Regional Transit says that they are constantly adapting to meet more people's needs, whether that means new routes, a new app, or expanding their current hours. Jeff Hatley with ORT says one of the major contributors to the spike in ridership is the new Walmart campus. Workers using the bus instead of needing to find parking in the area and go where they need to go. Another major contributor is the expansion of the routes. Recently, ORT broke down larger routes into smaller ones to better accommodate people who need to take shorter trips.
And knowing where we came from in Bentonville just a few years ago, we had one route in Bentonville. It went clockwise around the city, and it was there, it was public transit, but literally if you bought ice cream at Walmart and your house was back the other way and you had to go the whole scenic route around, your ice cream was going to be melted by the time you got there. So this is a big change.
Hatley tells me the organization is constantly changing. Right now, they're looking into expanding their hours to have full service on Saturday to better meet the needs of the people on the weekends. Back to you.
Well, now that a new school year is in full swing, it may be a good time to do a mental checkup with your child. A local mental health expert tells us what to look for, not only with your children, but yourself.
It's a huge change for both the parent, for both the child, and that can lead into a lot of different emotions.
Sage Small is a mental health counselor at the Guidance Center in Fort Smith. The biggest thing to look for, she says, is changes in your child's daily behavior.
If we're seeing our child come home from school and they're not wanting to talk about it or not wanting to share, that can be normal. If we're seeing something develop that has not happened before, that would be where we can, open up our child to questioning. Like, hey, how was your day? Did you make a new friend? Did you meet anybody? What'd you eat for lunch? I mean, very basic questions, but it allows that social connection as well. And then, of course, always talking to the teacher if we continue to see any additional concerns.
She says there are so many things parents can do to make the child feel more comfortable at school. For starters,
sometimes using objects like a necklace or a piece of clothing or something they can put in their pocket, touching that and knowing like, hey, this is a connection to somebody I care about. That could be a way that you can alleviate those anxiety items.
Small says parents can also help themselves cope with this major change by getting involved with your child's school.
How can you connect with other moms or other dads or grandparents who may be going through the same experiences? Our parent-teacher associations are fantastic ways to plug back into our school and give back, and also kind of have a way of checking on our kids, during the day.
Bottom line, Small says don't be afraid to talk to your child about school.
We're having different experiences. And so making sure that we're talking about those, that we're sharing it, that we're connecting on it, even from a parental side of sharing our experiences in school, where we struggled, where we didn't, especially with teenagers, that can be a really important conversation.
You can hear more from Darren's conversation with Sage by going to our website, 5newsonline.com, and clicking on the Community Spotlight tab at the top of the homepage. Well, here's a really sweet story for you. Meet Jude Bonner. This little guy's from Roland, Oklahoma. He's about to be featured in one of the most iconic places in the world. That's right, an adorable photo of him will light up the screens in New York City's Times Square on Saturday, a big honor with an even bigger purpose behind it. Here's 5 News anchor Tiffany Lee.
Come on, I'll get you a cookie. Come on.
Jude is almost 3 years old. He's a toddler in every sense of the word, and he's very busy.
Summer Bonner tells us that they're excited for thousands of people to see the smiling face they love so much.
Jude is going to be shown on the video board in Times Square as part of the National Down Syndrome Society. His buddy walk for this year.
A walk with events nationwide meant to advocate, promote acceptance, and inclusion for those with Down syndrome.
As a society, we're kind of taught to fear Down syndrome, to be afraid of what's going to happen next, but having Jude and seeing all the amazing things that he's done has really taught us that it's not something that you have to be afraid of.
They cheer on their little fighter every step of the way.
He had open heart surgery at about 6 months old, so he's overcome a lot, been through some hard stuff as a family and with him, but he is super resilient and he is just growing and thriving, and we're super proud of the opportunities that he's been given and how well he's done and grown throughout his life so far, and we are looking forward to what's next. So is he.
And while the future is bright for Jude,
he's brought a lot of happiness to us and to a lot of other people, and he's been a huge blessing.
Right now, they're focusing on seeing his name in the bright lights of the Big Apple, and Big Sis is pretty excited.
I think it's
Take
neat.
it, girl.
I think it's cool, and it's cool that Jude gets to be in it.
All right, well, September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, and this year, the Arkansas Prostate Cancer Foundation is teaming up with high school football teams to tackle the stigma that comes with getting screened. Players and coaches from several Arkansas schools joined the group at the state capitol on Tuesday to begin a month-long effort that includes free screening events and a statewide awareness campaign. It's a cause that hits home for Malvern football coach and prostate cancer survivor John Fogelman.
It's not so overwhelming if you get educated on it.
Prostate cancer is the most common cancer affecting men and the second leading cause of cancer deaths. Schools across the state received blue ribbon stickers to put on the back of their helmets to remind people to get tested early.
People can come to one place and have the services of physical therapy, rehab,
respiratory therapy, nutrition, social work, all in one place.
This place here will be great. I used to have to go to Little Rock, 200 miles. Now I'm driving 30. This is great.
UAMS in Fayetteville hosted a ribbon-cutting ceremony Thursday for the opening of its new multidisciplinary clinic dedicated to the treatment of ALS. Also commonly known as Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS is a progressive neurodegenerative disease that affects nerve cells in the brain and spinal cord. Over the course of the disease, people will lose the ability to move, speak, and eventually breathe. The new clinic at UAMS will help fill the need for therapy in Northwest Arkansas and help address disease progression. Well, this was a Labor Day weekend tradition that keeps Northwest Arkansas spinning. The Prairie Grove Clothesline Fair draws thousands every year, but the real spotlight is the square dancing. 5 News reporter Lauren Spencer takes us to the floor where the competition is more than just do-si-do.
This is a community and we want to share that with them.
It's an annual Labor Day tradition. The Clothesline Fair in Prairie Grove, where square dancing has been swinging the town round and round since the 60s.
Almost everybody in Prairie Grove and around in western Washington County will be here at some point.
From the Cowboys and Can-Cans to the Rhythm Wranglers, it's a tradition that just keeps promenading.
It's kind of like nerve-wracking, like the first day you go on, but the second day you're like, I've already done this, it's okay.
It's the nation's largest square dancing competition with hundreds of kids showing off their months of practice. They even taught me some moves.
Well, there's a lot of stepping and a lot of twirling, and sometimes your feet hurt a lot.
But the hard work is worth it.
Getting the steps correct and getting your motions smooth.
There's 90 groups and 720 children showing off their best sachets.
My favorite part about it is the energy that they have to bring.
The high schoolers compete for bragging rights and a belt buckle.
This blows away high school football. These kids are athletes. To go across between square dancing and clogging for 8 minutes, incredible.
Here they were putting out chairs at daylight today to mark their spot so they would be able to see their kid or grandkid dance.
And some third, even fourth generations of dancers passing down the moves.
My brother did it and I really liked it, so I wanted to try. Just have fun when you're out there and don't be nervous at all. It's gonna be okay. If you mess up, then just keep going. 1, 2.
In Prairie Grove, covering news where you live, Lauren Spencer, 5 News.
And it's not just about the dancing. Last year, the Clothesline Fair raised more than $21,000 for the community. And this year, the Lions Club is matching up to $3,000 in donations for the Prairie Grove Backpack Program. Well, thank you so much for watching the 5 News Plus Weekend Wrap. And while you're here on 5 News Plus, check out our latest newscast and weather impact forecast on demand, along with other original content from the 5 News team. Have a great weekend.